Hi, Palabo here. Before this week's flashback, I want to say two things. First of all, I celebrated my anniversary 2 days ago. Wednesday this week was exactly 6 years after I started my life as a full-time nomad. It's funny to think that when I left Denmark on the 6th of July 2016, I thought I would be traveling for 4 years. Now, 6 years later, I feel like I've only just started. And the second thing, I know it's about time you get something new, something you haven't heard before, and you'll get that next week. Monday you'll get part 1 of my visit to Uruguay, and already Wednesday you'll get part 2. I've been putting a lot of work into these episodes, and I'm introducing some brand new elements that I really hope you're going to like. So make sure that you keep an eye on your podcast app next week. But that doesn't mean that you won't get any flashback episodes every Friday. And this week you can join me on board a cruise ship through the Mediterranean Sea with a bunch of amazing digital nomads. We're going to walk the streets of Malta, enter a talent show, and sample some delicious wine at a boutique winery in Greece. This one was released for the first time in September 2020. Welcome to Flashback Friday.
Meet Palabo, a full-time traveler and digital nomad from Denmark on an epic journey around the world. At the age of 50, he made a bold decision. He sold everything and set out on a quest to visit every country in the world, documenting everything along the way. This is The Radio Vagabond.
I'm about to go on a cruise in the Mediterranean from Malaga in Spain to Athens in Greece. But not just any cruise. This is not just going to be a trip. This is going to be an experience of a lifetime and will be the start of getting to know my new extended family.
Don't you want me to tell it where it is? Because it searched all my luggage. I have 3 bags. Are they going to search everything?
Okay.
Why don't I just tell them where it is?
Here I am at the counter, still on land in Malaga, trying to check in to be able to go on board the ship Horizon.
Yeah, I can tell you where it is so you don't have to search all my luggage.
When we localize your luggage, we give you your luggage, and you open your luggage.
But you don't need to give me all 3 bags. Just give me the computer bag.
As we sort this out and find the right bag with my passport, let me just say that this is obviously recorded before the pandemic. I'm not going on any cruise ship right now here in 2020.
Where I'm from? I'm from Denmark.
Germany.
Yeah. No, Denmark. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I'm alone, but I'm going on the nomad cruise thing. So I'm with the group of 250 people.
You're the group?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boarding card, please. Mr. Bert Stelsen, welcome.
Thank you. Okay, I've been through the check-in procedure of what I'm going to be doing the next 8 or 9 days. I handed in my luggage and I asked them, do I need my passport for check-in? And they said, absolutely no. And then I went to the check-in area without my luggage, and the first thing they asked for was my passport. So then they needed to retrieve my bag, and I could find my passport, but I managed to do so, all with a smile. And now I'm on my way onto this beautiful big ship. It's called Horizon, and I am going on a 8-day cruise from Malaga to Athens, and I'm so looking forward to that.
The Radio Vagabond is still sponsored by Hotels25.com. Whenever you're going to start traveling again, you'll need a place to stay, and this is where you should start by going to Hotels25.com. It helps you find the best deals on hotel rooms and guest houses and hostels all around the world. Hotels25.com.
The Radio Vagabond. Gotta keep moving.
Nomad Cruise started in October 15. And on this one, Nomad Cruise 6, they put 249 people on a boat and introduced us to each other. So in that way, they created an environment of learning, sharing, creating, and most of all, connecting. We get some mind-blowing sessions. Here are just a few of the headlines from this cruise. How to design a winning morning routine, how to hire remote employees, creating a social business, learn how to create your own Facebook Messenger chatbot, a fresh perspective on cryptocurrency for nomad and entrepreneurs, how to start your affiliate marketing channel, reframe your brand with great photography, how to become Google's best friend, turn your passion into a fully automated six-figure business, strategies for sustaining a digital nomad lifestyle. You get the picture, and these are just, sorry for the cliche, the tip of the iceberg. There was actually also one called How to Travel the World for a Year Plus with carry-on luggage only and look good while you're doing it. There was so much takeaway in these sessions, and I made so many notes. You can see the full schedule of the sessions on this cruise in the link I put in the show notes of this episode. So, the Nomad Cruise is basically a conference for travelers, digital nomads, and people who are location independent. But it can also be for someone who is just considering becoming one of these and just want to get a taste of it and learn from someone who's already living that lifestyle. Yeah, it is a conference, but because it's on a ship, it's very different to a conference in a conference center on land. When the program for the day is over, we don't just go to each of our hotel rooms. Here, we're together all the time. We eat together, drink together, play games, hang out on the pool deck, and so much more. We're all in the same boat. And then there's just something special about these people. Many of us have no home base and live a life with full-time traveling, with few belongings, many stories, and a lot of uncertainty. And that just, at least for me, makes an interesting group of people. In this episode, you get to meet a few of them. But first, since we're on a ship, we all have to go through the mandatory drill. So we know what to do if we hit that iceberg I was talking about before, or something.
At the moment, we're still in Malaga and they're conducting a drill in case of emergency. All approximately 1,000 passengers are required to participate. When they gave the signal, we should go to the cabin, take out our life vest, and then meet in a specific area. In my case, it's the casino. So right now, I'm surrounded with people with bright yellow life jackets, and at the moment they're explaining how to put them on. I don't think that's the difficult part. Actually, I'm quite happy that they're doing this because we all heard of the cruise ship that sunk here in the Mediterranean, and a lot of people died.
Never throw lit cigarettes overboard. The wind may bring them back and start a fire. Watch your step and hold on to the handrails when using steering keys.
You can follow Palabo on his Facebook page. Join the conversation about traveling and being a digital nomad. You can also see pictures, videos, and stories that don't necessarily make it into the podcast. Simply search for the Radio Vagabond.
And then we're going to the discotheque on deck 8. It's in the afternoon, so we're not going there to drink and dance. This is where the sessions are going to take place and our main conference room on the trip. As we enter the room, we get our name tag and wristband showing that we're a part of the Nomad Cruise group. You see, we're not the only cruisers. There are also normal people on this trip.
So, when there's people talking, we lift the fox, the silent fox, and
with all of us sitting in the comfy chairs, we're facing the round dance floor.
We're just going to do a very brief introduction about how this cruise will work, and this will be like, I think, about 20 minutes, and then the whole program will start tomorrow. So I would just like to... I don't have the clicker, sorry.
The voice you're hearing here is the founder of Nomad Cruise, Johannes Faulkner. I've met him before. When I was in Cape Town, he was also there, and he actually organized the wine tour that I went on. In fact, 10 to 15 of the people on that wine tour are also here on the cruise.
All right. So, this is the first time that we're doing the Mediterranean. Actually, I thought that, I was thinking that this would not work, and we're gonna be around, below 100 people on this trip. So, but today we are actually 249 participants from 42 countries. Wow. So, yeah, that is a new record for sure. But yeah, 2 years ago that was just an idea, and I saw this cruise, this really cheap repositioning cruise, and I just posted this. I would have never thought that this would turn into an event like this, and all this wouldn't really be possible without the team and the people who are helping with this now. So I would like to introduce the other people who are helping here today, and then we can explain a little bit more about the program and how everything works. So this Bori, Dennis, Rani, and Annalena. Yeah, Bori, Dennis, Annalena, and Rani, they have been doing a lot of work also in the weeks before this whole thing started, and they will just quickly explain you what you've been working on.
Hi, my name is Bori, and I was taking care of the program. I'm in the conference part. I'm going to talk a little bit later about what this consists, but you probably already seen. This is lots of workshops, lots of talks, and lots of knowledge, but I'm going to talk about this a little bit later in details.
Now it's the morning of day 2 of my nomad cruise, and yesterday we were getting settled in. We had a meeting where we were introduced to what's going to happen, and then we had dinner and went to the disco at night. I called it a night shortly after that at around midnight, and now I just had breakfast, and in a few minutes the program itself will start, the workshops and the lectures, and that's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to learning some new stuff. Whenever we're eating, we try to sit at tables with people that we don't know, so we get to know so many people as we possibly can. And already now I made a ton of new friends and met some friends from before. Some friends I met in Cape Town, some from Chiang Mai. Someone I met in Montreal, Canada when I was there. So getting reunited with old friends and making new friends. That's the main part for me of being on a nomad cruise like this. And the boat itself is it's not the biggest boat. It's quite big. We're 249 from this group of nomads, and then I think there are 800 passengers more on the boat, and it's I think it has 11 floors. On the top floor there's a couple of pools, a couple of jacuzzis, a restaurant and a bar, and that's on the top floor. But then there are restaurants, shops, a big theater, a disco, and then a lot of floors with cabins. I have my own cabin. Some people, they have a shared cabin. I met someone that was paired up with someone that she didn't know, and it was not 2 single beds. It was 1 double bed, and also it was they had 1 blanket on it, so she had to share a double bed with 1 blanket with another girl that she didn't know. So they were complaining about that and was changed to move to another cabin where they could have 2 single beds. But in a few minutes, the program itself will start, and I'm really looking forward to that.
You are listening to the Radio Vagabond. We'll continue in just a bit.
Here's a letter from a listener. Hello, Palle. I just caught up on your episodes. I've enjoyed listening to your journey while I'm walking, weeding, or cooking. I was so glad to hear you say in an interview that you had enough material for many episodes. Once or twice you mentioned upcoming travels, and I think you said that you were coming to Vermont in the US. Were you able to visit before the pandemic? If you haven't yet, and you travel to central Vermont, Montpelier area, post-pandemic, during sugaring season, you're welcome to visit our tiny backyard sugar shack. Stay safe, Marcy. Thank you so much for your email, Marcy. Yes, I've actually been to Vermont before the pandemic. I did a road trip to all 6 states in New England and also Vermont. I spent a week in Lunenburg and a few days in Burlington. Stuff that's coming up in season 6 of the Radio Vagabond. Thank you for offering me to visit your backyard sugar shack. That sounds exciting. So maybe another time.
You can also send a few lines to Palle and get featured on the show. Tell him where you are and what you're doing right now as you're listening to these words. Just click on Contact on theradiovagabond.com and fill out the form. This is the Radio Vagabond Podcast.
With this Nomad Cruise wristband and name tag, it was easy to identify people. So if you meet somebody at breakfast, on the pool deck, or anywhere else, it's no problem to go up to them and start a conversation. And since I'm always carrying a microphone, I bring that out from time to time. Let's meet the first Nomad cruiser.
My name is Maya. I come from Bosnia and I'm Sarajevo based. It's the capital of the country.
Can you explain what it is that you do?
Sure. The company I work at is called Ministry of Programming. We are a tech company that builds amazing startups, internet startups. My job is taking care of the people's well-being, meaning that I take care of their happiness mostly. I also do hiring. And there is an inside info. When I joined, just 14 months ago, we were 30-something people. We doubled in size in less than a year. So now we are 70 people. And my job is to make sure they are as happy as they can be. They are looked after, they are cared for, and that we uphold to our cultural values. I try to make sure everybody is happy and content.
Why are you here on the cruise?
All right, so yeah, I was gonna come for a cruise this year, I decided, and then probably the social media listens to you, right? So I was talking to a few friends how I wanted to go for a cruise. As I used to be a crew member before, I wanted to see the other side. I wanted to be the guest. So I was talking about my planning to go for a cruise, and the Nomad Cruise advertisement popped up. I got really interested, and I decided to fill in the applications. No expectations whatsoever, but I filled in the application. I got myself invited. So I said, this is something that I'm not going to miss. This is something that I have to do now. And joining yesterday, I realized this is a breaking point in my life. I'm so happy, I'm really having a great time. And I think the group, they are some amazing people to meet. And this is going to be the biggest takeaway from the cruise, all the amazing people that I'm going to meet here.
But you're not nomadic?
Not yet, but nothing is excluded. Yeah, no, I'm full-time Sarajevo-based. The company is. One of the cultural values that we cherish is the remote working, full remote working. However, my job position doesn't really allow me to be fully remote because I still have to take care of the people, and people are surprisingly sitting at the office. Even though they can be remote full-time, they're sitting at the office. They find it very cozy and very productive. Yeah?
Yeah, good morning. We're starting...
And then the program starts. I noticed that there's a small animal on each of our name tags. And early on, I learned what that was for. I had a small camel on mine, and after the first keynote, in the break, We were asked to walk around and find as many from our tribe as we could. So I was going around the room looking for other camels. And after lunch, we had a team-building exercise. We had 20 minutes to come up with a business idea and prepare a 60-second pitch for that.
So now we're in the middle of a process of working with a team, and we had 20 minutes to come up with a business idea and prepare a 60-second commercial for it. And we're up next on the stage, and I'm only doing the voiceover at the end, but we came up with an app that could send stories from one person to another. Well, I really don't know exactly how it's going to work.
Marcus is in an old age home, and he hasn't heard from his kids in a very long time. In fact, his birthday is coming up, and he's really hoping that his kids have got something to surprise him with.
I haven't heard from my kids for a long, long time.
Austin and his sister are all the way in the United States, and they're thinking about what they could send for their dad.
It's going to be Father's Day. Let's send you chocolate.
No, sis. He's getting old. We gotta get something to make him feel young again.
Huh, what could they do? Luckily, Tilo and his fantastic team built an amazing app that can take both Austin and his sister's voices and convert any story with their own voices that can be played back to their dad.
Once upon a time, far, far land.
Yeah!
Send a voice story better than chocolate.
After these small, live 60-second pitches, with us all as bad actors, we had to vote for our favorite, and
they're about to announce the winners. Remember that we are the camels.
I'm a fan of the dolphins.
The Dolphins won and got a free beer, something that's free for all of us on this all-inclusive cruise. But that was really not the point of the exercise. This was just a part of us having to work together and get to know each other.
Thank you, everyone.
That was absolutely deserved. They were absolutely the best team. This was fun.
You are listening to the Radio Vagabond, your guide to taking that first step towards living a more fulfilling and adventurous life. If Palabo can do it, why can't you?
Apart from the keynotes and workshops, we can also organize our own meetups about really anything. And all we have to do is fill out a piece of paper with a topic for the meetup and a time and a place, and then post it on the wall in the disco. And then people just sign up and show up. Someone did meetups about app development, public speaking, SEO, retreats, but you can also do acro yoga in the morning, singing and playing guitar on the floor by the elevator, or meetups about dating as a nomad, or, like I said, just about anything. Sometimes 20 people would show up, sometimes only 1 or 2. I posted one and I just wrote, "Let's meet and I'll record a chat about being a nomad for my podcast." And I'm about to meet the people that signed up. It's Austin from the US, Thilo from Germany, and Rod from, well, nowhere and everywhere. We're meeting in the corner of the restaurant in a few minutes.
My name is Austin Lickman. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the city of cheesesteaks.
This is Thilo and I'm from Germany, Bremen.
Hi, I'm Rod Cook, and I was born in Thailand, and I've been a nomad since I was 20 years old.
Wow. So I thought we would just talk a little bit about this lifestyle that some of us live, and you said that you're not exactly a nomad. What does that mean?
I am not a nomad yet. I worked a corporate 9-to-5 job for the past 5 years. I realized that lifestyle, that structure was not for me. And so I made a big change about 2 months ago, and I'm here today at the Nomad Cruise, hoping to find some enlightenment to where to go next.
Yeah. And what is it that you do?
So I worked in marketing and sales for the hospitality community in Philadelphia.
And you, Rod?
Well, my journey started a long time ago, actually on a cruise ship. I went from Southampton to Australia, never ever been there before, at the age of 19, but I became 20 when I was out there. And I didn't actually realise that I was a nomad until about 3 years ago when I came across the term. And it suddenly struck me that I've been doing this most of my life, so that's why I'm here.
Yeah, so for me, I don't really identify as a nomad, but I'm a poker player, and I realized that they have pretty much the same necessities as nomads. And so I came across this lifestyle that you want to live somewhere where it's more cost efficient to live, so like cheaper countries, you earn the same wherever you are, and yeah.
And you told me that you're mostly playing online, so you could technically do that anywhere.
Oh, yeah, that's completely right. Like 95%, I would say, are online.
Yeah. Rod, do you have an address?
Yes, because during the course of your life, you wander around all over the world, and after a while, you realise that no matter how beautiful a country is, actually it's the experience with the people you meet that's really important. And so therefore I've set up 3 home addresses, you can call them home bases. One in France, one in London, and one in Lisbon in Portugal.
But I guess you have one of them is your resident address.
Yes, actually, by connection, all 3 of them are.
Oh, really?
Because also you have to look at things like tax positions, where you're going to pay your taxes, what is your base. There's a huge complication of nomads as we move around the world. The world all wants us to be stable and stay there. And in fact, you have to get over this hump, and you have to work out a system whereby you meet all the things that are necessary, especially if you have children.
So we've been on the cruise. This is the second day of the cruise. Does anybody want to say something about the cruise so far?
So far, it is what I had an idea of. There's amazing people on this cruise. Each have some sort of individual talent and best part about it is each one is willing to share, willing to help the next person. And like I said before, that's what I'm looking for. And so I think I'm in a perfect place.
Yeah, for me, I noticed that yesterday, we just got on the ship very late, and I thought it might be very stressful, but it turned out to be super fun. I wouldn't have imagined how many people you can meet in such a short time, and because everyone is so open-minded, that you can just literally go to any person and talk to him, and he is not confused while you're talking to him, but they will just go along and are happy to make new friends.
Rod, do you see any downsides to the way you chose to live your life? Because we're 2 old guys older guys. Yeah. Speak for yourself. yeah. No, and is there a downside to live this way? The thing about having a base somewhere, is that something that you're thinking about?
Well, yes, especially if you find that the one that you decide to go and marry, and then they don't agree at all with your lifestyle because their idea of the marriage is completely different, or the union is completely different. And I have 2 kids that I've had to grow up. Well, I love my kids, of course, but it means that you have to then move your entire life around somebody else and their needs, which is really important, obviously. And so you might have to take breaks out of your life in order to do that and take up your responsibilities. And that is a downside because you can't necessarily always do what you want, but you recapture it again. While I'm out here again, and on another cruise ship, this is the second one I've ever taken in my life, is because I'm on the second stage where I can go anywhere I want right now because everybody else is grown up.
So where do you see your life taking you now that your kids are all grown up?
With my kids grown up, I have a passion, and my passion is actually to help to change the world.
It's a small thing?
Well, it is a very small thing, but I find that in the nomad community, there's an enormous amount of people who want to change the world. And that's why they don't want to live in one country, work in one box, and they want to have that freedom. But all of them think about different subjects that inspire them. you know, and they want to change the world, and you can do that very easily, actually. So my big project at the moment is co-living, and we're working on projects that allows any nomad to go anywhere in the world and have the same standards, or at least the expectation of the same standards, in a very friendly and very objective life. Not to make money, it's not Airbnbs, it's definitely a whole system that is being created.
Not to make money?
Obviously, there's costs, so therefore there's money that has to come in, and people will make money. Because houses don't appear and work on zero. However, if the principals have the ideas of community, networking, support, and friendship, those 4 key things which a lot of nomads want will be supplied to them. They'll also have education and opportunity, and that's what we're working on.
So Thilo and Austin, you're not fully nomads yet. Do you see yourself doing it, and is there something holding you back?
I second that passion, what Ross said about trying to change the world any way you can. My job my career that I was in, it was not, I had no passion behind it, nor did I feel like it was meaningful. So that's why I kind of making this change, this risk, to try to get into the nomad lifestyle, because I believe there's more meaning in it. You could do more, you travel the world, you meet different people, and at the same time, when you change them, they change you, and everybody just learns off each other. There was nothing holding me back. I'm all in. And
so when I meet you in a year's time, you'll be with a backpack.
I'll be with a backpack, or I'll be with a briefcase. I'll be with something that I hope I could find that I can make some success out of, as well as help the next person.
What about you?
Yeah, actually, I also kicked my flat, but only 6 months ago, and I'm still figuring out if this lifestyle fits my needs or not.
You said something funny to me earlier today that travel, it's nice, but it's not something that you thought, oh, I need to travel.
Yeah, exactly. Most of the people I met here on Nomad Cruise, they are so enthusiastic about traveling.
Yeah, we have the bug.
And yeah, the travel bug. And it's true, some people don't have a business yet, and they want to build a business just so that they have the opportunity to travel. And for me, it's really the other way around, that I just have been a poker player, and that gives me the opportunity, but I don't really am so enthusiastic about it. So I'm now trying out whether or not this lifestyle fits or does not so much fit my needs.
So you're putting on the poker face now, I can tell.
Yeah, I'm very good at that.
Even though you don't need it for online poker.
You don't even need pants on for online poker.
Now you put some pictures in my mind that I didn't want to be there. Okay. You never play in a casino?
Actually, I do.
But there is a casino here on the boat.
Yeah, I heard that, and there's even happy hour. So if there wasn't the talk before, which was pretty awesome, it was a very funny thing, I might have joined. But maybe there's some other options that we'll have to check it out.
A quick follow-up. I just spoke to Austin again, and he hasn't become a nomad just yet. After the cruise, he got into acting and modeling, so he's pursuing that at the moment, and still living in Philadelphia. Thilo started a poker stacking stable a few months ago, where he and 2 partners teach the strategies necessary to become a poker pro, and offer the funds as well, so there's no financial risk for the players. Their business model is that they, in return, get paid through a share of the winnings of the students. And about Rod and his retreats, you can see more about that on retreats.io. I'll put the link in the show notes. And that's all we have time for in this episode, but we'll be back on the good ship Horizon for more on the Nomad Cruise from Spain to Greece. And I'm so looking forward to that.
Next week on the Radio Vagabond.
And it's been a fabulous place to bring up my children.
Yeah, but the island is quite small. Don't you get a little bit of island fever?
Yes, by all means. You feel like you're living on a rock.
This episode is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com. It's a website that helps you find the best prices on hotels around the world. Hotels25.com. My name is Palabo, and I gotta keep moving. See ya.
Produced by RadioGuru.co.uk.